So last night I got to 4 miles past the 88 store, and that's where Nimble Nomad is camped out. And I kind of knew about that since the kickoff event, and somebody told me, and I just completely forgot about it. So when I got there, it kind of snuck up on me. But I went over to his little campsite. It's just, maybe 30 feet off the trail, and he's got a little tarp set up for his cooking stove and campfire, and he had sodas and bags of chips and oatmeal cream pies and that kind of stuff, and just sat there and talked to him for maybe an hour and a half until it was getting close to sunset, and then I went to go down the trail a little bit to set up camp. But it was nice to talk to him. I've obviously heard all about him and never had the chance to meet him, so he was kind of giving me a hard time a little bit about not doing the starting at Key West, and kind of got to hear some of his philosophy on why he likes road walks and some of these other trails he's done and how he plans for them, and which trails he likes and doesn't like and all that kind of stuff. So he says he's come out here for the last couple of years and just wants to meet hikers, and I guess he's trying to stay warm as well with the weather. So anyway, he's leaving here in a few days to go Trail Fest, which is basically like the trail days of the Florida Trail, and I've considered going, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So he said this is the first one, so it'd be kind of cool to go to the first one. I think they've rebranded it. It used to be Billy Goat Days, but now it's officially Trail Fest. I don't know how similar the two will be, if it's basically just a rename or if it's a totally different kind of event. But plan for today is to do about 25 miles to I don't know if it's a campsite or stealth spot, but it's right before you get to the town of Palatka, because after that you kind of go on a bit of road walking, and didn't look like there was very many good places to camp. So I also don't really need to do more than 25, because if I do 25, I'm kind of going to overshoot Lake Butler, which is where I'm planning on staying. You can camp at the City Hall, and I'm planning on camping there for Super Bowl Sunday, doing my laundry, taking a shower, either Nero or Zero, just depending on how the miles line up, because since I'm pretty sure the camping is free, Zero doesn't cost me anything. And then if I go past that, there's not really any good towns or anything to stop at. So I'm sure I would still have phone service. I could watch the game on my phone, but I figured if I'm going to watch the game anyway, and I'm going to be close to town, it kind of just makes for a convenient Nero or Zero to do a bunch of other town stuff in the process. So I'm trying to match my mileages up for that. So this is a longleaf pine forest. You can see every direction, and according to Far Out, they say that this is what the southeast used to look like before they cleared all this stuff for agriculture. But anyway, they say there's only 2% left of these longleaf pine forests that were not destroyed by agricultural farming. So you come out here. This looks like just the parking area. And then there's like a road walk. And I think like the official campground for Rodman is maybe like half a mile down this road. There's some picnic pavilions and things, but it's the best view of the lake. I didn't get anything like this around Okeechobee. So, pretty nice. So way down there is where I came from. Trying to cross a dam in the middle there. And off to the left, kind of down there, is the picnic pavilion and bathrooms and stuff, which I planned on going to, but I didn't see the turnoff. And there's like a gully or something of water or whatever here in the middle, so you had to come all the way down here if you missed it, and I just didn't want to walk all the way back. So I mostly was just gonna wash my hands because they're kind of dirty from mud and everything else. So, but it's not that important. I got enough water and charge and everything else, so I'm gonna keep going. But it's a nice little spot, but it's in the direct sun, so it's definitely cooking you when you're walking across there. Part of me thought all this stuff was dried up, but man, it's just, I don't know if it shows it on the video, but the thing's covered in mosquitoes. Well, time to get the feet wet. So that swampy road that I was on was not the trail, which I kind of had a feeling because they haven't routed on the trail and stuff like that. So currently still off trail, trying to get back to the trail. I don't know what I'm on right now, but I've been trying to bushwhack. The trail is over there somewhere, and bushwhacking through this stuff is a real pain in the ass. So I'm trying to like parallel it on this thing as best as I can and look for easier spots to cross that stuff, because there's like these little vines and stuff that just grab onto your poles, wrap around your legs. I'm probably covered in ticks. So yeah, the blazing once again at these intersections was not the best. Well, I found the orange blaze. Like these little vines are wrapped all around me. You can tell I'm like surrounded in shoulder high bushes. I can't film and get through this. Well, after probably the worst bushwhacking we've ever done. I mean, look at this. It's just, I'm walking through that, it's over my head. Anyways, back on trail, and I'm gonna do a very thorough tick check, because I got a feeling that's where they were living. So I checked for ticks. I did not find any, so I think I'm clear. And if not, I did spray permethrin on them 2 days ago, so that stuff should be pretty strong. And if I missed one, hopefully the permethrin gets it and kills it. I think I got a couple new holes and cuts in my shirt and pants and things from all the vines and thorns in there, but I think it's mostly cosmetic. I don't see any major issues, but I guess, I mean, I was paying attention enough that, like, when it kept following that road that was flooded, like, and there was dry ground like right next to it. I'm like, well, why would they put the trail on a dirt road that's flooded if there's dry ground above it that would be perfectly good for a trail? So anyway, somewhere past that gate that I walked across, there was a blaze to go left, and I kind of just kept going straight. So kind of get a feel for what the trail looks like and where they put it, and my spidey senses was going off and said this doesn't feel right. But for spidey senses to kick in like that, you usually got to be off trail. It doesn't happen before, so it's nothing too bad though. It was only maybe 10-minute delay and a little bit of fun bushwhacking, so keep it on going. So if you look, that white thing right there, somebody's RV. This is like the official Rodman campground. That thing I passed earlier was like the, I don't know what they would call it, recreation area by the dam or whatever. Anyway, there's a trail magic / water cache here, but one of the unfortunate things about being kind of at the back of the pack, or of the bubble, if you want to call it that, is a lot of these water caches you get to are empty. So just something to keep in mind when you're hiking. If you're in the front, that cache has probably been sitting there for a couple of weeks untouched, and you'll get as much as you want. But like I said, the bubble is still a day or two ahead of me, so I probably have had, I don't know, 20 people hiking ahead of me that have gotten dibs on all the water caches. And you know, if everybody takes 1 or 2 liters, you can deplete a water cache pretty quick. So fortunately, I wasn't really expecting that one or needing it. Worst case, I could have stopped at the campground that's right there and filled up. But I have been noticing there's a lot more water caches now that I'm back on the main connected trail, because on the west side there were literally 0. And you could kind of make do, because there was, the first part was the road walk, 70 miles, and then after that seems like you passed a trailhead or some kind of campground at least once a day, if not twice, where you could fill up your water. There'd be some kind of spigot somewhere to get water. So yeah, now that we're back on this side, I've already seen several caches just from today and yesterday. So you come down that pathway. I've been walking on the embankment to this river or whatever for like an hour or more. There's a, I don't even know what it is, a park. It's got a bunch of picnic tables. There's a porta potty, a couple of kiosks, but I mean, it's got gates and stuff on it, but you can just hop over. And then this is where we cross over. And this fence right here with the chain on it, I'm pretty sure we gotta put a combination in to get across there. So, about to find out. I think I'm mostly looking for a picnic pavilion. I think it's that thing over there on the right that has water and outlets. So I got a little time to kill, and I think I'm gonna maybe charge for like half an hour, take a break, it's kind of hot, and then head out after that. So the place that I came in is over this way, and they have a, you know, the loch in the water, like these two bridges or whatever that you're supposed to walk across. Well, that one is open, meaning there's water flowing through it, so you can't walk across it. So I had to walk all the way down here, and then this one, you can kind of see the bridge. That little thing there is the walkway across, and then you just come back down this way and go through that gate. The gates were open because I guess it's still like business hours, although I didn't see anybody in the little rooms there. But there's a water spigot here on the, so I'm gonna wash my feet with that, dry my socks out because they're wet from that off-road adventure. And then I think that building is the one that maybe has the outlet. I haven't gone around and looked yet, but that's the plan. So the outlet is at this building. There's the picnic pavilion I was sitting at. And got my fingernails pretty much clean, hands clean. Washed my feet. Put some new socks, these white ones I still got from Dollar General. Gonna try to keep them as clean as I can the last couple days till town. I'm pretty much charged up, so I'm gonna leave here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Haven't seen any other hikers coming by, but it is hot, so I'm enjoying the shade while I'm sitting here. So we are leaving the H.H. Buckman Loch and St. John's Trail heading north. I think I have about 10 miles to go to where I'm camping. That gives me like 4 hours until it starts to get kind of dark, about 6:30, so that should be plenty of time. That'll put me at 25 miles for the day, roughly. And that's all I really need, because like I said, if I go too fast, I don't really want to skip Lake Butler, because probably where I'm going to take a 0. And yeah, I just don't really need to go faster than that. So doing 25 miles, even with taking a hour break there, that was a good little spot to take a break, because like I said, it had the power outlet in the shade, had a bench you could sit on while you charged. There was a faucet there to refill water. I washed my hands, which feels nice. Washed my feet. Did a little foot medical care, trying to clean those up some. So, good spot. So this is the first trail register I've seen in probably a couple of weeks. I think John is the first person on here that I recognize. He was one of the guys that I camped with at the very beginning. But you can see he was here several days ago. He's trying to finish fast to get to a job or something. And Mossy, he was at the Nobles with us. Disco, that's the friend I'm trying to catch up to. She was here a couple days ago. And then this is like her group that she's all hiking with. So Goob, he was here yesterday. And then Stevie Wonder, I know he's like starting 10 miles ahead of me or something, so it's cool to see the registers. I'm not sure exactly what kind of animal that is. I'm guessing it's got to be like some kind of possum or something, right? Or that type of animal. It's obviously not a deer. It's not a bobcat or anything like that. It doesn't look like any kind of bird. So, never really seen that kind of print before. Just for reference, this is kind of your typical Florida Trail water source. I mean, some of them have less green and leaves and stuff in them and are a little bit more clear, but it's almost always some version of this standing swamp water that is usually so brown that you can't even see the bottom of it. I mean, it's probably perfectly fine to drink. It's not going to be like the canal water that has a bunch of pesticides and stuff in it. You know, it might have a little bit of a tannin flavor or something to it, but I've never had to deal with that, mostly because there are a pretty good amount of water caches and spigots, and you can go through town and fill up and stuff like that. So like that campground well, wasn't a campground, but picnic pavilion, stuff like that is what I've used 95% of the time. I think I've used my filter like 3 times. 2 of those were in Big Cypress, and then I think I used it once on like a pitcher pump because we weren't sure if it was potable water or not. So besides that, I've not really had to use the filter. I have like a water bladder for like dry camping and stuff, but I've never really used it either. So if you were trying to save weight, this would probably be a good trail to bring, just like those Aqua Mirror drops. Leave the filter at home, leave the water bladder at home, and then I would just carry more capacity in your water bottles. But about like 3 liters is probably plenty. And then, you know, you don't have to fill up 3 liters every time you go somewhere, but sometimes you might need that much. You fill up all 3 liters, and then you don't have to worry about the like a Sawyer or a water bladder or anything else, because you're really not going to use it that much. I would have some kind of game plan though for pre-filtering for the cases where you do sometimes need to use that kind of water, either a bandana or maybe some specific fine mesh cloth or something that, like a, I don't know, coffee strainer or whatever, that would filter out a lot of the debris and stuff in there. Because if you just have those drops and you don't bring a Sawyer, you're going to be chewing on your water. I almost did it again. So this is where I came from. You can see orange blaze. This is where I was going. If you look carefully, the orange blaze is hidden behind all these overgrown leaves. And I started going this way, and I noticed it got like narrower and a little bit more rugged, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn around. And I turned around and look what I saw. So gotta pay attention. So just kind of like the Dumble Rainbow guy from like 15 years ago on the internet. I think this is the first time I've ever seen double power lines. Usually it's just the one row. Makes for a good camping spot. So this is where I was originally planning on camping today. It's just kind of a open, dry area, and there's actually a shelter maybe like another mile and a half after this. And I don't know if there was a shelter on the east side of Orlando. There wasn't any on the west side. So as far as I know, this is the first shelter going northbound on the Florida Trail. And it's got a screened in like sleeping area. There's like an upstairs with mattresses, and it's supposed to have like a pitcher pump for water. So I figured I had enough daylight left to get there, so why not?